Okay. The idea of home. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about that. I do know that there's a big difference between having a place that you have a key for and having possessions you own and sort of normalcy that comes with that, and not having that. It's really difficult to establish any sort of sense of stability when you don't have a home. And I think that that's probably one of the most obvious things. But one of the things I think I found probably most difficult to get used to is the idea of possessions. I think when you don't have a space of your own, I found that it was really hard to, material possessions became somewhat of a hindrance. They became a real, I started to view things like books and records and possessions as more things to carry, and so tried to avoid those as much as possible, I think, for a while. Home is, I don't know, it's more than just possessions, right? But it is sort of, but the possessions that I have now are an example, I think, of who I am, that if I hadn't have started to try and, put my life together in some way, wouldn't be here, right? And there's a certain comfort in them, right? Where I think one of the biggest benefits of having a space of your own, whether you call it a home or not, is being able to just remove yourself from everything that you see in the world for a while and try and gain some level of sanity on your own life, and despite what's going on in the craziness out there. And that's something that's really, it works both ways. There's pros and cons to it, right? I mean, some people become completely homebound and jaded as a result of that. And then there's the opposite extreme where if you don't have any place to call your own, to shut off from and away from, like the world becomes so extreme, right? It's black, it's white, it's up, it's down, it's, the highs are as high as anything and the lows are lower than any place you ever thought you could go. So, because there's no buffer, right? There's no door to close on that. There's no TV to take you away from it. There's nothing to offset what really goes on in this world. You're just living it constantly. And so things become really extreme that way.
For me, I work at home. So for me, I've always wanted a place where I was comfortable working. I've rented apartments before, and, everyone lives with their parents, but I can't say I've ever really been comfortable living at home with my parents, even when I was a kid. And even the apartments I've had have not really felt like home or comfortable, because you can't really do what you want with them. So I think I've always worked towards having a place where I'm comfortable. So I guess that has resulted in the search and looking for this place that I've happened to come across. But I guess it's sort of a refuge. It's not very often that I actually sleep anywhere else. I'm not really comfortable sleeping anywhere else than this house. Even sometimes being with other people, I really don't like sleeping at other people's places. I'm very comfortable in my home. To me, I guess it's changed my life in that I feel that having this place has made me a lot healthier. I think most people want a home or a place to stay. Like here, I pretty much have complete freedom. You can change the house to suit the way you feel, and I've often done that. I don't think I could actually. I think I would be very uncomfortable in my life if I didn't have the situation that I have now with my home, being able to do whatever I wanted it. I don't think I would be able to function anymore working, or actually, I think it would probably be difficult for me as a person not to have this place. Or if this was taken away from me, it would be probably immensely difficult for me.
You know, I don't know if the sense of home and stability is something that's guaranteed to anybody anymore. I think you can look at people living on the streets and think, oh, what a way to live. Meanwhile, there's so many people living from paycheck to paycheck where if they got sick for a month, they'd lose their place as well. And
yeah, if I was paying a mortgage, or, I mean, as long as I'm making my payments on a regular basis, there's not really any reason that I would lose that, or could lose that.
what about terrorism?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't stop the rain either, you know. There could be any number of things. There could be terrorism, there could be, you know, a hurricane, a tornado, you know, a hell of a thunderstorm, a fire. I can't change those things. And I don't have that power to change those things, so I just have to, you know, I mean, I guess blissfully naive, not, you know, I don't think about somebody running into my house with an airplane, or you know, some lunatic bombing it. It just doesn't concern me. As far as what Mother Nature's going to throw at me, I mean, I can always rebuild if it's mine. You know, if I want to, if I choose to. But the security of having my own place, rather than paying rent to somebody else's place, it just seems more sensible to me, more practical. It gives me the ability to grow, and I know that that $600 or $900 a month that I'm putting to something in 20 years, that's going to pay off. I can live 20 years in somebody else's place and pay their mortgage. The problem that I have, and that's my hindrance in getting to that, is that down payment thing. You know, if I had $5,000 to spend, if I had the 10,000 or whatever, you know, number I can come up with to have that little chunk of 2 acres that I can live at, I don't have that. And my financial situation right now doesn't allow me to grow to that. Right now it's nickel and dime, scraping and throwing money after one thing to keep up with something else. And that's not comfortable either, but I have high hopes, you know.
I don't know. I think that's part of the problems, is that housing is even less stable for a wider portion of the population now. It's really hard to experience much else in this world when your basic necessities aren't met. You know, it's hard to be creative, it's hard to be well-read, it's hard to be knowledgeable about world events or anything that's going on when you're worried about where you're gonna stay from night to night, and what you're gonna eat, and if you have to go to a shelter, is there gonna be room, and are you gonna make your rent, you know, or the rent's gonna go up, so do I have time in a day to get a third job or a second job, right? So, or if you have kids, I mean, I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen with their kids. So,
I remember I felt at home most in Dumontagne, and so leaving there was a big deal to me, I guess. I remember when we left Quebec, I had some fit about, I had this ball named Pen 4. It was just like a ball like this. And I had some fit because I guess we'd left it behind, thrown it out or something. And so we couldn't leave Quebec without this this ball. And I was looking at photos there when I was in home yesterday of, I should show you some of those pictures. There was some pictures of my brother and I, like, as hobos for Halloween. I just found it. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's just all these pictures of me with the ball. I have to have the ball. Yeah, I don't know. My home is different. Like, I go home now, and my home isn't the same. And it's my dad. My dad isn't there, so it's like that's the way it is to me. It's just it's like a situation that I don't know. Ever since that happened for me, I guess it's like things won't be right again. That's the way. Yeah.
I think that I think that Essa, and I think that in general children, they kind of pick up what their parents feel. And I think that if I feel more safe, more secure, and more comfortable, I think that helps her feel more safe, more secure, more comfortable. If I'm worried about what tomorrow's going to bring every time I turn around, worried about, every nickel and dime 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, yeah, I mean, that's got to take a toll on me, and it eventually will take a toll on her.
But there are a lot of people who have places and they don't feel secure. I don't know, it's hard. It's hard to say, because I think that in a lot of ways people are really, I don't know, they don't think about it, I don't think, that much. I think they just think about trying to get from day to day with the least amount of hassle, with the least amount of bullshit, with the least amount of aggravation. And people have found interesting ways of doing it, though, in terms of security and safety on the street. Some people choose to adopt dogs. And I think it's as much a companionship thing as it is a possible security thing. Everybody has to sleep at some point. And usually a dog that's with you, lying, sleeping next to you, is much more, its hearing is much better than a human's would be. And so, there's a certain ease in which you can fall asleep knowing that if something were to happen. But, it's interesting that you brought that up, because on Tuesday a homeless man was beaten to death down the road.
Personally, I don't feel comfortable living in a place that I have to lock even. We don't lock our house here, except for the fact that the only way that door locks or closes is when it locks. So we have to sometimes, but and I really believe, like, it sounds karmic or something, but I really believe if you the more locks and the more walls you put up, the more, it's a language, right? It's signs. You're giving out signs saying, don't come in here, And humans are curious animals. They're monkeys. They want to figure out what that's all about, right? And maybe that's not a conscious thing, but I think it's there. I really believe that it's there, and it means something. I'd rather be able to have some trust, to have some faith. I was in the city. I was in Montreal that happened, and I would be shocked to see that happen here.
Do you think that people are really putting all the locks on their door to prevent theft, though?
No. Oh, no. But yeah, that's a good question. Why are they there? Are they afraid that someone's going to come into their house and murder them in their sleep? I think that's absurd. It is. It's totally absurd. People just don't do that, There's Charles Manson and stuff like that out there. It happens, but, you're more likely to be struck by lightning or win the lottery, for sure.
It is violent out there, right? The rules are really vague, right? You can come across people who wouldn't do anything to screw you over, and then you come across people who would do everything to screw you over, and you can't judge what they've been through to make them decide what their own limits are. It's a huge gamble, and I think for women it's especially problematic. Talk to any woman and probably tell you that there are fates worse than death, right?
Maybe maybe it has something to do with gender. I don't know, but I never worry about that. I never worry about it. That's a horrible thing. See, if I felt like that, I can't imagine staying in a place where I felt like that. I can't imagine it. It's like what you said earlier about, I don't know, you said something about what it might feel like to live on the street or something. I don't have any idea, right? But I feel like I would have to take some action about it, you know? I would move, I guess, which is, I don't know. So we're back where we started, right? You're feeling, you're not happy with your space, so you leave it. And that doesn't work either.
I don't know. There's a certain clarity to things that I think when you have walls around you, or, you know, comfort or distractions, the world can seem less clear, I think. You know, I think being able to choose, like truly choose, whether you, like in an ideal world, you would be able to choose without worrying about whether you could really afford a place. You would have a place, and that would be automatically granted to everybody, and it would be a healthy place, right? Because there's a lot of buildings that are really sick. Like they're really made of really bad materials. And basements, I mean, there wouldn't be such a thing as a basement apartment, right? This is all right. This is not much of a basement, but I mean, there's so much mold in those things, right? They're not healthy. But they're usually the only places you can live in for under $700. I think it becomes a health issue, really, where if you have a healthy world, if you have a healthy place where people can be and try and fulfill their ambitions and desires, then that might offset this. I don't know. I think it's a sign of something really ill going on.